Right, you need a couple tools in order to change the filter and change the oil in your Yanmar. First off, you're gonna need a little wrench. They come in different sizes depending on the size of the filter that you have on your engine. You're gonna wanna have a new oil filter. You've checked with your local shandery. They can give you the right part number or grab the part number off your existing one. You're gonna need 5 to 6 liters of or quarts of engine oil. I like to use the Yanmar diesel engine oil for the Yanmar engines. 5W30 is what I use here up in the Pacific Northwest. And then you're gonna wanna have a little siphon or sieve just for somewhere to pour the oil into afterwards. And the last piece that you're gonna need is an evacuator to be able to suck the oil out of the dipstick. Several different types of evacuators on the market. There's electric ones, there's manual ones. Choose the one that kind of fits your budget. You want to make sure that the cylinder can hold as much oil as it used to go. This one will hold up to 7 liters, so plenty good. Before you try and evacuate the oil, I find it's best to warm the engine up a little bit. As the oil is a little bit warmer, it's a little bit more viscous, and it sucks out a little bit easier. So just running the engine for 5 minutes doesn't be hot, just to warm up the oil from cold. So to get access, first thing you need to do is you're going to need to remove your dipstick. Take your evacuator hose right down the dipstick tube, making sure to go all the way to the bottom, and then pump the handle on your evacuator to create some suction. And you'll see the oil starting to come up. You're going to need to repeat this process 40, 50 times. This is probably going to take about 15 plus minutes for me to evacuate all of the old oil out. As you get down to the end, you may start wondering, have I got all the oil out? Is there still more in there? I can't see if it's coming down. A little piece of tape, just to give you a rough idea. If you pump it 3 or 4 more times and it doesn't change from the spacing between the tape and the oil, then you know you're done. Also a good note to take a look about how much you came out, so you know the minimum amount that you need to put back in. I'm at 3.5 liters right now, so that's full 4 quarts. Once you've pulled out all the old oil, I like to donate about a 1/2 quart, just a little bit of flush, to try and make sure that you've gotten all of the old oil out. So I've got a bottle left over from last time. Looks like it's about just a quart left. So I'm going to pour that in and use that to top it up. So if I want to just make sure that I've gotten all the dirty oil out, I'm just going to add about a quart here. Fresh, left over from the last oil change. And then once I've finished evacuating this little bit, I'm going to wait for a minute or two so it can drip all the way to the bottom. I'll evacuate that and we're done with the old oil. Now, after a minute or two, a few more pumps just to evacuate that couple 100 mils that I just threw in. When you're done, let the line go up vertical so all the leftover oil drips back down into your evacuator. Don't forget, replace your dipstick. I don't know about you, but when I'm doing things have a way of disappearing on me, so I like to put them back right away. I don't know anymore. All right, here's the messy part. Because it's horizontally mounted, there's no good way really to stop the oil dripping from when you pull this out. So your best route is a little bit of pre-planning. Take some of your oil rag cloths from your engine, get them up as hard as you can to block or collect the oil, because it's gonna drip. You're gonna get lots of oil dripping from here. There's just no two ways about it. Have a bag ready so that you have somewhere to put the oil filter into once it's done. I like, before I take the oil filter off, I want to make sure I got the right one going on. So just a quick visual comparison that, hey, this is the same size of oil filter, that I know that I bought the right one. You'll notice sometimes that they slip a little bit. So a little trick that I like to use, a little piece of paper towel. Pause, please. I'm just getting a little paper towel in there. Helps it grind and bind a little bit better. Start sliding, I find a little trick. Take a little paper towel, slide it up. It helps grab the filter a little bit. Sometimes that little paper towel just helps bind it a bit. Only go a few threads. Once you've got the few threads done, get the tools out of the way and get ready for the mess. Once you start going, go very, very quickly. Get it off and flip it up so you have the minimum amount of oil dripping out into your bag. You're gonna have a little bit of oil is gonna manage to come out of here for probably a minute or two while you get the new filter on. I'm just gonna do a quick clean of the surface. Take off the plastic seal. A little bit of lube, a little bit of oil from leftover just around the seal to help it make a nice tight seal when you put it back on. I like to go all the way tight as I can by hand. I'm going to use my paper towel trick again to get a little bit more friction on the and sometimes. And I'm just going to make it technically very tight. I think I probably did a quarter to a half turn after I got it hand tight. Okay, we've got the oil filter back on nice and tight. Now it's time to fill her back up. Use a little handle here just to pinch so that I can open up the hole with your siphon and slowly pour the oil in, making sure that it doesn't tip out the side. I'm going to put 4 quarts in here, and then once I've got the 4 quarts in, I'm going to check the dipstick. I put in full 4 quarts of oil. Check the dipstick. See, I'm still a little bit low. Probably almost take another full quart. So I'm going to top that up. Probably another half a quart. I'm going to start the engine, run it for a minute or two to let all the oil get through the new filters, etc. And then I will check it again to make sure it's topped up. And then the last thing I will do after that is throw a little sticker on there. I like to put the date and the engine hours on a piece of tape and put that piece of tape right onto your oil filter. Now, you know, if you want to do it every 50 hours, every 100 hours, you know where your starting point is. All right, cap's back on and tight. I've got about 5 quarts of new oil in. I start the engine, I'll check for any leaks. Now once I turn off the engine, I'm just going to double check the dipstick again and make sure she my very last piece of the process, I'm going to use the empty oil cans to disperse the old oil so that I can bring it to a mechanic. A lot of the mechanic shops, I know that a lot of the marine shops, they have bulk oil transport. So if, you know, for 10 bucks, 15 bucks, you can ecologically dispose of the oil without it ending up in a landfill. So I'm just going to basically pour it from here into here. I won't film this part because I need 2 hands to make sure that it doesn't tip over and spill everywhere. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you learned something.